Welcome back, Nick Lenz, Comic Corner, Classics as Non-Classic. This is episode number 985 and Doubleshot number 879. I got two Superman trades for you, and both of them by Scott Liddell. And yes, next Comic Corner I'm going to do also features a Scott Liddell trade and a Superman trade. I'll talk about those next video. First up it is Superman Krypton Returns. Collecting Superman Volume 3, Issue 0, 25, and the 23.3 Hell. Action Comics and number 2. Superboy Volume, I believe this is Volume 6, number 25. Supergirl Volume 6, number 25. Everything in here is pretty much written by Scott Liddell with the exception of Superboy and Supergirl Issue 0. The issue 0 for Superboy is done by Tom DeFalco. Issue 0 for Supergirl is done by Michael Green. Yep. The artwork in here is done by a bunch of, you have Kenneth Rockford, mainly does think he's just a Superman issues, Muhammad Asur, Ed Baines, Dan Jurgens, Rob Lean, Roy McCarthy, R.B. Silva, and Pablo Secura. Aside from Scott Liddell, Tom DeFalco, and Michael Green, we also have Mike Johnson, Justin Jordan, and Michael Allen Nelson. Yep, this storyline is the sequel to Hell on Earth. Yep, coming just barely like a year after the events of the last story. Yeah, roughly like 8 issues. Yep. Yeah, it had been barely a year. And the good news is it only takes place over the course of 1 month instead of like 4 months. Yeah, you just have Superman, Superboy, and Supergirl come in contact with a character named Oracle. No, it's not Barbara Gordon. It's this creature they come across from Hell on Earth, where apparently Krypton has returned, and the character Hell's responsible. Yep. Though the issue 0, I should point out though, it's just some backstories on certain characters. Like for the Superboy one, it's just, well, story about Krypton in the past. Yep. And mostly it's also a backstory on the origin of Superboy in the continuity. With a cameo by Omen, well, a Omen, not the Omen, from Titans. And everybody's least favorite villain, Harvest, from The Culling. Yep. Yeah, they simply put, it's just basically how Superboy was created. Yep, that's simply what this issue is. And him trying to defeat all of them. Supergirl is just, well, kind of her origin story, basically about her time on Krypton before her planet exploded, and she had basically a transport to Earth. That is literally what this issue is about. And the Superman one is all about Jor-El. Yep, all about Jor-El, and just basically a story featuring him. And when I was reading this, I'm like, some of the stuff looked like it was loosely adapted from Man of Steel. Like, basically, people storm into his home and try to stop him from what he's doing. Yep. It feels like the Hell on Earth story is just basically... This one is a one-shot from Villains Month. This picks up right where the Hell on Earth story left off, and simply put, it's set up for this very story. Yep. This came out roughly like 2 months. Yeah, 2 months before the start of the story. Yeah, it's simply him waking up in the past of Krypton. He's not going to save Krypton, he's going to rule it. And that leads into the Krypton Return story, where Superman, Supergirl, and Superboy have to basically destroy Krypton again. This time to just, well, basically make sure it gets destroyed this time. It does, eventually. Of course, you'll see sort of an older version of Jor-El, though we currently see an older version of Jor-El. Currently, he's something else altogether. And by the end of the story, we have Hell getting killed. Yep, Hell dies. Hell, for some reason, also calls Supergirl beloved, despite the fact these two never had sex. Oh yeah, and the fact he's a big fat liar. Yep. Also, Superboy dies. Yep. And here's the weird thing about his title that happened after this. His title got taken over by his clone. Yes, a clone of a clone. Yep, John Lane Kent. Not Jonathan Samuel Kent, the one who's the current Superboy. No, this is a completely different one. It shows up in Teen Titans A#2. A character that nobody cares for, and the fact that Cuban Comic Frontline refused to refer to the Superboy as Superboy. They call it simply John Lane Kent number 26. That's what they called it. But this is a little bit better story, and it's okay. It's not terrible. It's slightly better than Hell on Earth. One thing, it doesn't involve like a whole bunch of things, and one thing is it just focuses on the Superman family, which is nice. And yeah, it's a pretty good story. I'm gonna get this book roughly an 8.5 out of 10. It's slightly better than Hell on Earth. It's an okay sequel, but it's slightly better. Now moving on to a trade that has a few issues that should not be in this trade at all. We have Superman, Volume 5, Under Fire. Yep, the 3 issues that should not be in this trade are 26, 30, and 31. 25 because it's the conclusion to Hell on Earth, and 30 and 31 just sit up for Superman Doomed. Yep, so I'm going to talk about the 4 issues in here, 2 of whom feature a guest star appearance by Starfire. Yep, Starfire. By the way, these are the last issues that Scott Lobdell wrote for the series. Yep, after this, he left. Oh yeah, the artwork in here is done by Noah Ram, Ken Lashley, and Baines, Brett Booth, who takes over halfway through the issues, Kenneth Rockford, Jack Herbert, Jonathan Galpon, Jamie Messina, and Vincent Katos. I guess pronounced it, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, after the whole thing with, well, the stuff with the return of Krypton Returns, we have a story basically first kind of following up what happened at the events of Psywar. Yep. First we have Superman with a guest star appearance by Wonder Woman of all people. Yeah, Wonder Woman, those of you who didn't really know about this, those who didn't read any New 52 comics, yeah, Superman and Wonder Woman were a couple for about 2 years until they broke up. Yep. So yeah, and Lois Lane is treated as Clark's best friend. Despite the fact anybody who's known Superman knows Lois should be his wife, not his best friend. So yeah, apparently she's still in coma, and then she has Wonder Woman just leaves, and she doesn't do much in the story. And then we have a encounter with the frickin' Parasite. Yep, Parasite shows up in here. And, oh yeah, and also, we have cut to Cat Topless, where somehow Cat Grant gets exclusive that Colonel Samuel Lane, not General Lane, gets offered to become a senator. I'll talk about this in a minute. Yeah, we also have a brief appearance by Dr. Shea, by Shea, a character from basically the pages of Action Comics and Superman. Yep. Here's the Parasite. His real name is Joshua Allen Michael. That's really his name. He's technically the 3rd Parasite. Yep. And basically he's here just to drain Lois's power, which is fine. And then we have a 2-part appearance where, like, right after the storyline wraps up, we have a 2-part appearance with a guest star by frickin' Starfire. And, of course, we also have a Demonite from the pages of Grifter. Yep. By the way, this character also appeared in the pages of Red and the Outlaws. Yep, the whole point of this 2-parter is to set up, basically, something that happens in the pages of Red and the Outlaws. Yeah, that's the whole point of the next 2 issues. Yep. So you have cops dealing with these people who are possessed. Superman basically going, like, different place, encountering Shea again. And, of course, he encounters Starfire, which I at least got praised by Brett Booth could put her in a much better outfit than she appears in Red and the Outlaws. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she appears in here, like, also with Roy Harper. They basically they fight for an issue. Oh, I like this outfit better than her outfit that she wore in the Red and the Outlaws title. Yep. They fight for about half issue. Also, we have issue 29 doing this. A 2-page spread turned on that side. Yes, comics occasionally still do this, despite the fact this is really a stupid thing to do. Yes. As far as I know, there is no reason for this at all. If I get a chance to meet the artist, I think this was Brett Booth did this artwork, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's Ed Baines. Yeah, I'm going to ask him or Lobdell, why the heck was this basically had this 2-page spread on the side? It's really weird. Yep. So, they fight, they team up, they take on a creature. We also get their appearance by her smoking hot sister Blackfire. Yep, she appears in this title. And yeah, Oh yeah, apparently his name is. I don't remember who this guy is, but yeah, he appears in the pages of Red Hood and the Outlaws. That's really the whole point of this two-part, is set up a storyline in the page of Red Hood and the Outlaws, which Scott Abdel was writing at this point. Yep, that was simply the whole point of it. So yeah, this is, well, a trade that it's okay to exist, but I would have easily cut out 25, 29, 20, 30, and 31. Take the 3 issues out. Yeah, if you take us 3 issues out, that's roughly just 4 issues. Yep. Would be a short trade, but yeah. This is kind of the end of Lobdell's run. Basically, give this book roughly a. I'm also giving this an 8.5 out of 10. It's an okay conclusion to his run, but it's like, okay, let's just have a run where he ends it where, well, of course, doing this whole thing with Doomed, where he just sets up his own arc for Red and the Outlaws, we're going to relaunch the Red Arsenal, featuring this Demon Knight character. At least got praised the fact Starfire has written, she's written to be a lot better of a character than she appears in Red and the Outlaws. And of course, Ray Harper has a guest star appearance in here. Yep. So yeah, final thoughts on the new 52 Superman era. I know some people don't like this run at all due to the fact that, well, Superman has not married to Lois. The fact that, well, the whole thing of him dating Wonder Woman. The fact he's more arrogant than he used to be. The stupid... I do agree about this. The stupid collar he had to wear. Yeah, Jim Lee's the one who designed this costume. Yep. You have the collar. The fact that, well... Let's see. Oh yeah, the fact that he got a new superpower which temporarily stripped him his powers. Let's see. People didn't like it because it was somewhat different. This was at least okay. At least Abdel basically kept interest in the title because, well, at least it was interesting. Though here's the weird thing. After issue 31, guess who took over as the writer of this particular series? Jeff Johns. Yep. Though he didn't in the book very long. Nope, he was in the book for 8 issues. Actually, more like 9 issues. Yeah, basically his era, the arc that he did, started at issue 32, then wrap up to issue 40. Though the last issue was done by John Romita Jr. Yeah, that's the one who did issue 40. Jeff Johns left after issue 29. And then pretty much the last year of the book was done by the guy who ended up writing New Superman. Yep. That's who the writer was, and of course we had the final issues done by, well, Peter De Tomasi, who ended up basically become the writer of this book up until last year. But in the case of how I felt about New 52 Superman, because I reviewed all the titles related to him, well, all 4 of his main titles and all 3 crossovers he had, well, actually 4, including Savage John Final Day Superman. I haven't filled the fully thing of Superboy and Supergirl yet, but as with Superman himself, I'd say for Action Comics, that was actually pretty good in the Grant Morrison. It wasn't really exactly terrible per se. And he did go in 20 years, had a pretty good idea what they're doing with the book. Lobdell simply was there just to fill out in a couple issues, just set up his run for Superman. Well, set up an arc for Superman. And of course, you have Greg Pak to the book, which book became a little more interesting under him. Of course, setting up stuff for Superman Doomed. And, well, stuff afterwards, and then the stuff for Dark Truth, and the Savage Love Storyline Final Day of Superman. But it's basically mixed for me when it comes to New 50 Superman. I mean, my friend Edgar doesn't have a really big problem with this. My friend TV hates this era of Superman. Yeah, he hates it with a passion. I mean, yeah, he thought that the Grant Morrison stuff for Action Comics was mediocre, and I don't blame George Perez for what happened with the first arc of for this series. I do not blame him for that. I blame DC higher ups for basically their bullcrap, the way they mistreated George Perez, one of the most well-respected artists in the industry. I'm sure all of his coworkers still respect him, but DC higher ups just didn't give a damn about him because they wanted this new 52 stuff. Yes. It's okay in doses when it comes to New 52. There is some good stuff. Action Comics, I thought that was really good. Superman, basically, it's like after Perez left, The issues that came out, everything was done by Dan Jurgens and Keith Hickman. That was okay. I didn't have a really big problem with it. Lobdell basically just did a crossover, did like a story arc, and then another crossover, and then another story arc, and then had a couple issues deal with another crossover, and then he left, and the other guy took over for about 10 issues, just basically stuff that lands with another crossover. Yeah, it's basically most book deals with crossovers after the first year. At least they waited a year to do a crossover, unlike some other books basically just didn't bother to wait. So yeah, that's my final thoughts altogether when it comes to New 52 Superman era. And that includes the books for Superman, Action Comics, Superman Wonder Woman, and Superman. I don't count Justice League because Justice League is his own thing, even though it features Superman. Basically, his 4 solo books he had. Yeah, at one point he had 4 books. Now he currently has 2. Yep. It's kind of good for Rebirth. They actually trimmed down his books down to 3 for briefly, and then they got rid of Trinity. And now they're bringing Batman Superman. Yep, I'm actually happy they're bringing that back in the book. The book was actually really good, by the way. Yep. I would say that and Superman Wonder Woman were really, really good. I didn't have a problem with any of the issues for those 2 series. This one, well, couple okay crossovers. Doom was weird, and Dark Truth was pretty interesting idea, but poor execution. Yep. So yeah, not much else to say about New 52 Superman, but yeah, I've covered pretty much everything for him. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review, which I'm gonna do next. Okay. See you there. Bye.